Hello YouTube, welcome back to Made by Fugals. Just real quick, I wanted to go over with what we've been doing. You guys haven't been seeing anything because we haven't put anything out. Um, but I have recently put myself in a position where I can make things for people. That's kind of the direction I want to take my life or run a business, whatever. And not using YouTube to try to make money, but create a product, and it's customer driven. So if the customer wanted something, you guys are all the customer. If you want something, shoot me an email. I'll talk to you about the business dealings and invoices, whatever, and what shipping and handling, blah blah blah. So here's how this works. So if you want something made and you have this conceptual idea of what you want made, whether it be a new fork or a butter knife made of wood or um, things like that, I don't do metal casting yet. I'm not set up for that, and I can't do titanium. I can't do like the really hard steels and things like that because I don't have a big enough, tough enough machine yet. Um, and I am limited to size. Why? I'm just starting out, and I'm doing this all on a budget. My budget. I give myself a little bit of money to run my machines and my company, and I have my personal life to the side. And I have to split my funding between two things, and I'm a disabled combat veteran who doesn't have a job. I do have a little bit of money coming in, but that's from prior investments, and those investments are going to dry up. So I have to start this business and get the money rolling. The way it works, though, is you're as a customer, you want something made, you have this idea of something you want made, and you present it to me. Now I can draw it up in a three-dimensional world called CAD, computer-aided drafting, and then I turn that CAD into a CAM, which is computer-aided machining. I input the G code. G code is what controls the machine to cut things out. You guys are all familiar with 3D printing, okay? That's CAD and that's CAM, computer-aided manufacturing, computer-aided drafting. The manufacturing and machining are kind of one and the same, but they're not exactly. Like a 3D printer runs off of a STL file. I create that STL file. I create that image, and then we produce it. But that image comes from your head. You draw a picture of what you want, a concept idea. You present it to a guy like me. By the way, I'm cheaper than anybody else. $3,000 for kind of concept ideas to be made into real products. Me, I'm way cheaper, and I am certified as a CAD and CAM operator. And I do have my own machine. Um, so if you wanted something made, you just...
Like that.
My wife's helping me. She's been helping me. All right. So this is just a wooden sign that's been stained and painted to look really nice. It started out as a piece of wood, um, and I drew it up in my CAD, and I went through and made sure that it would look really nice, and then I made one, and then I found out what it really looked like, and then I fixed it, and then I made another one, and I looked at it and made sure it would fix the problems. So I got one that looked really nice, and it was cutting out, then the wood kept flaking off here and there because pine is soft, right? What is called a manufacturing process. You make an idea, or you come up with an idea, you test the concept to see if it will work, and if it doesn't, you fix the problems until you come up with a finished product. Sorry, I'm getting sawdust coming back on me here. Should have worn my respirator, right? So I made these signs. I didn't paint them. My wife did. I didn't stain them. My wife did. But I did cut a giant board into little squares, and I made the part, and then I made the design on the part, and then I'm sending it to the customers, the people that have asked for them. And a whole bunch of people are going to be really happy with this. This thing here, I mean, most people, I don't know that you could probably guess. For that one little project there, to come up with this stuff, it's taken me weeks, day and day of just working at it. Most companies will charge arms and legs, and it's $3,000 for a mold. This in itself is a mold. I mean, if you were to stick this in plaster of Paris and wiggle it, wax it up, stick it there, let it set up, pull it out, and then fill it with resin, glue, whatever you want, you come out with a mold. I mean, So I make molds, I make signs. I'm tired of making signs. But that's what people want, and that's what I have to do. But I can make little boxes, and I'm limited to size. And most things need to be made out of wood or aluminum. I haven't tried my machine on aluminum yet, so I still have to do a lot of proofing of concepts with that and figure out what my machine likes and what it doesn't like. But if you want something made, let me know. The future of my business is I'm going to do laser engravings, laser cutouts. I'm going to machine molds. Um, and it's just my company's going to get bigger and bigger, and my abilities are going to become more and more. Um, but as it sits right now, if something you want made is under 8 inches, let's see, 8 inches long and 8 inches wide, if it's that size, it can be hollow, it can be very intricate. The smallest cutting tool I have right now is a 1/16 of an inch. If you take a tape measure, it's one little tiny black dot to the next little tiny black dot. Do I have a tape measure? Anyway, you can figure it out. You look on a ruler, you'll see eighths, sixteenths, half. Everybody knows what a 1 inch is. Then you have half of an inch. Then you have a quarter of an inch or 3/4, quarter of an inch. Then you have a 16th of an inch or an eighth of an inch. And then you have a 16th of an inch. You're just breaking that inch down to its smaller. You can go into 1/32 or 64ths. In the machining world, it starts to get into the thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, half a thousands. Really microscopic world that there are parts that people are cutting out with wire filaments smaller than a human hair. So that's how small you can go. That's just part of the manufacturing process. I'm here to help people make things that they want that normally would be an astronomical amount for a lot less. Because of my precision, I can do precision work, but it's going to cost, right? Or I can do general work that the general population wants. I mean, if you look at things made in the store, if you really analyze them, you can find flaws and defects in them. And they charge you a lot of money. And they sell hundreds of thousands of these imperfect objects. But it's mass manufacturing. What I do is I do custom work. So if you have an idea and you can write it down on paper, not draw, like say you want a box made, make me a box. You have to tell me specifically what you want with that box. And I can draw it in a CAD model. I can send you a picture. You can look at it and think, I don't like this, and send me your notes. Or if you're close by, you can come over, sit down with me at my computer, and I can draw it right there in front of you and have a working model made up in minutes. But let me know what you want. Custom jewelry boxes, you name it. And I can make wood as thin or thick as you want. I say that with caution, though. My machine at this point in time cannot cut. It can cut a big piece less than 3 inches thick down to a piece of wood that you can hold up to the light and you can see through it. I mean, I can shave those layers right off. Paper thin veneer type deals.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was showing my wife how if I can machine a piece of wood. I wish I had one. I could just hold up the light and you could see the light penetrate the wood, and yet it's still tough. I mean, it's like looking through a piece of paper, but you can see the wood grain. It's pretty awesome what this machine will do. So I don't know. I want to create products that I design and make myself, but if you want something made and designed, it's your design, you want it made. Maybe it's just a concept model you want made up. Maybe it's just a 3D print. You want a plastic model of it or a resin 3D print. That's not hard to do if you have the picture and stuff. Maybe you just want a new chess piece. And I go out and find a chess piece that looks really cool, open source type stuff, and make you a 3D print for it and send it to you. And I don't know, that's the direction Made by Fugals is going. That's kind of the idea that we wanted in the first place. So are you having fun making painting signs? I don't know if I showed you guys this. I probably did. But this went from a person's idea. They showed me kind of what they wanted. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. I don't have... Wow. I don't have a video editor, so you're just gonna have to live with it. This is real life too. So we took the lettering, I turned it into a 3D model. I put it into my CAD system. I turned it into G code. I put it in my machine, and I made it make a sign. I mean, that's kind of how it worked out with the wood. Metal's no different. I am limited to aluminum right now, and I do need to do some work. It's what they call feeds and speeds. It can only cut so fast through certain metals with certain tools. So I have to work with it. And eventually I'll be able to cut titaniums and what have you like that. I could use a plasma cutter or a water jet. One of these machines is going to have to come into play at some point in time because it really helps on cutting stuff up. I am kind of rambling. My wife said, hey, write it down, but I didn't. So pardon my rambling. Because if I write it down, then I'm reading to you. It's like, nobody wants to watch me do that either. So I just try to keep it real. You're being
outline.
Oh, she wants me to outline it.
Not what you're saying.
Yeah. So whatever. Guys, you want something made. They don't sell it in the store, or you want your own product, that you can sell. I'm even toying with the idea of making soap molds for people who make homemade soap. Imagine so.
An address.
What's that? Yeah. So I need. Shoot me an email on Made by Fugals. I'll answer it. I'm not doing the whole checking all my messages all the time because that's not how this channel's working. You want something, you reach out, you get a hold of me via email, and then tell me what you want. And I'll tell you what I need from you to make your product become a reality. I don't do pens. That was like the latest and greatest fad. I don't have a lathe, and the rotating cutting tools I have spin so fast they'll just blow wood to pieces. So I'm not making pens. Make a sign. I can make boxes, things like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you guys. I'm taking cues from my wife. You guys have a wonderful, happy new year. That's in 2 hours where I'm at. And I hope to see some interaction here with people wanting stuff. Maybe you want a new spoon holder, a spice rack. That's what I made my wife a spice rack.
You did?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And you know what? I whipped it out in 5 minutes. I mean, it was nothing fancy, nothing really hard. So little tiny spice racks, 6 to 8 inches tall with, the little nutmeg containers. I'm not at my house right now, so I don't have all that stuff. But if you want a spice rack made, those for me are easy. Or a spool. There's like a rack that has like pegs, and you put your spools of thread on them. I can make those things really quick. Try to keep your orders around 1 or 2.
Order 500.
75. I mean, I made one of these, and the next thing I know, it's like somebody's asking me, "Can you make 75 of them?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Can you do it before the first of the year? I'm like, "That's in 2 weeks." So yeah, I was jumping through hoops to get it done. So I hope to see some people ask me for stuff. I mean, because that's how I'm making my money. So, and I have made this much money so far. I've kicked out some really cool products, but I haven't made a dime because the money either gets lost or I just haven't received it yet. So I'm the worst businessman ever. Oh my goodness. At least I got to pay my taxes. Because that's why I work, is so I can give my money to everybody in government. I'm laughing. That's not really funny. I mean, if I was actually a business, I'd probably be bankrupt already, and all I did is just open the door and say, "I'm open, bankrupt." It cost me more money to do this than I've made. So, oh well. It's called refining the process, right? I either learn to run a business or I don't have one. I'll always try again if I fail. So I hope I don't fail. That's why I'm in school. So guys, welcome to Made by Fugals. I hope I can put some content out there, and I hope you guys will join me in helping make some really cool stuff. Goodbye.